Us again today. We're going to go ahead and get started. I did want to do a quick overview of the quarterly reports that are due on the 30th. So I do want to say that I have reports from Peoria Public Schools and I have reports from Metro, and both of those have been uploaded. Has anyone else sent in their reports? Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anyone. And I just wanted to go over for the groups that have not submitted their reports. Let me pull up the email. So when you submit the reports, there's 4 different reports that would go in that one email. And make sure your dates, honestly, I tell you guys this all the time, but use the ones that you submitted for the first time around and just change the dates. That way you're not, constantly reinventing these documents. But make sure the financial report is saved in the PDF form, because we have to go in and sign, enter our information here. And also make sure that you're only putting, remember in this column here, X, we're only putting CGRS. So it shouldn't be full of the numbers like the first one was, because all of these grants are established now. We don't need all that information in there. Just put CGRS and then, your other restrictions and things like that. Does anyone have any questions over the PFR report? All right. And then the PPR report, the same thing. It should be saved as a PDF file because I have to go in here and sign it. And all of this information should be the same, changing the dates, but the same. Make sure you are clicking this button up here that shows the alternative file, and you're putting IWDS and Illinois WorkNet here, because that's letting us know that this information can be found on these 2 websites. And then if your project is on track, you're putting yes for these. If your project is not on track, you're putting no. And then you're saying why in these 2 parts. Does anybody have any questions about the PPR?
Hi, Tara.
Oh, yep.
It's Paul. I'm going to be sitting with our program team today to go over this report. We've completed it last month or the first quarter, so I want to make sure we transition that off to them. We are starting a new cohort coming up, so we do have the first cohort. We have the second cohort. I would think that we would say that we are on track, and then kind of would we just be highlighting specifically where we're at with that. Now, some of that data may not be in Illinois WorkNet at this time, because literally the boot camp started just recently, and we're still working through some of the kinks. We're going to touch base today, but do I include that information that may not be in Illinois WorkNet and iWiz, or do I just have them?
Yep, I would put cohort 1, 8 students, and cohort 2 is starting in, whatever.
Yeah, in April. Okay.
In April, yeah, April 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, just so we have some basis of it's on track. You actually have folks that are moving through the system, and you know what I mean, so that they know there's something happening with the program, and it's just not nothing.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And then the PFR trial balance. So you would fill out all this information. On here, it tells you the screenshots that we need. So it's the 362 screen and the 371 screen. And you're going to have, this is the cover sheet, and you're going to attach those 2 screenshots and your trial balance to this document here and save it as a PFR trial balance. Anybody have any questions about that? And make sure everything is very important that it's saved a certain way. And here's how you save it at the bottom with the naming conventions. And each one has, they'll all start with your grant number, but it won't say trial balance, they'll say PPR, PFR, and then all the dates should be for 3/31/19. And the last one is the PPR. So it's the same layout. The plan versus actual report is what we went over with that we went over last week, but I want to make sure everybody, okay, let's move this over. There we go. I want to make sure everybody knows where to go to get that. Because this report is the one that goes behind the PPR. So I'm logged into IWDS. I'm hitting reporting menu. And it's right here. It's under grants on the left-hand side, and it's the 1G report for plan versus actual. All you need to do is put that it's an WIOA 90 grant, which all of these are. And then the date is 3/31/2019. And then put your grant number. And you guys are all the way at the top. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 7 is your organizations. And then you would just hit view report and it'll come up in another window. Does anybody have any questions about where to find that report? Anybody have any questions about any of the quarterly report information that's due by the 30th? And it is more than okay to submit it early, especially if you have questions. Go ahead and submit it early. Don't wait till the 30th to submit it and then say you have questions as well, because that's really difficult for us to try to upload stuff and answer questions on the same day. All right. So another report I do want organizations to be very familiar with. You guys should be running this report, especially in the beginning of your grants, weekly, just to make sure our systems are talking to each other and everybody's on the same track. So you would go to reporting menu, and this is participants by grant. It's under participants and participants with services and without services. Yours should all have services, because the first service that you're submitting for your groups is the ISS form, which is the career plan that you completed in Illinois WorkNet. All of these grants are WIOA 90. And then, like I said, once again, you'll find your grant number. Now, these are a little bit buried. You got to kind of go down a little bit. But you guys are clumped together, which makes it, I guess, a little bit easier. Maybe I passed it. Let's see. Okay. 60. Oh, here we go. 635. Again, you guys are right here, lined up after each other. So this one you do have to travel down a little bit, but it's right here. And you pick your organization and then run your report. Now, when you run these reports, I'm just going to pick Asian Human Services because I know they have folks in here. But you should see an ISS for all your clients. For every single client, the first service should definitely be an ISS and then the other services, okay? So you run this report and it tells you at the bottom how many folks you have in your program. So they have 15 people that are listed in their program. And like I said, you definitely should be running this report on a weekly basis, just to make sure that what the numbers, the numbers that you're putting in and certifying applications. Does anybody have any questions about any of those reports or where to find them or anything like that? Okay. Don't forget, like I said, to attach that 1G to the quarterly report. All right. So before we get into it, I wanted to show everybody the Julio report. This is another, so this is in the Illinois WorkNet system. So we look at IWDS, and for organizations that are familiar with having older grants, IWDS, if the federal government came in today and said, hey, Sarah, how many clients does Metropolitan have? I would definitely use the IWDS system because that's our federal reporting system. The Illinois WorkNet system is for case management, for talking with your customers, for completing career plans. So it's a little bit more user-friendly. The IWDS report, as you all have been in there, it's very cut and dry to the point. It lists the services out, and that's about, and you're certifying your applications in there. But the day-to-day stuff of, hey, they're not answering the cell phone or they're starting classes in June, that stuff can be case noted and everything in Illinois WorkNet. So when you log in to Illinois WorkNet, this is your dashboard, your resources, your work placement, worksite placement, but reports is the thing that you should be looking at as well. And when you click report, it populates with this report. This is our Julio report, our management report. So if our managers, if I'm going into these weekly meetings and talking to them about how you guys are doing, if there's any grant issues, I pull this report and we go over it with them. So as you see, we pulled Age and Human Services and they had 15 in IWDS, but we see a total enrolled of 7 here. So that's a discrepancy in numbers. So we need to figure out what's going on, you know, with the other 8. But all these other organizations, you guys, everybody's here. It's a transparency thing. So, you know, youth enrolled, you should be able to see your numbers right here. And make sure when you look at here that all this information at the top is correct as well. This is the information you put into your training provider profiles. So these are your participant numbers or your goals for your grants. Make sure this is correct, that you're working with in-school and or out-of-school youth, or both in LAI's case. And then make sure your target pathways, your career pathways are listed correctly as well. But the main numbers that we look on here,
How do you find the Julio report? Because I'm able to find the other stuff you were talking about, but this I wasn't able to find.
So if you log into Illinois,
Go ahead.
If you log in, have you gotten to this page, the partner guide where it's blue?
Yes, I think so, yes.
Okay. Log in and it's right here. It's the bar graph.
From
IWS.
It's from Illinois WorkNet, not from the IWDS?
Right.
I was on the IWDS looking for it.
Yep.
Okay, I'll try it again.
It's the bar graph.
Okay.
And then my computer's giving us a little bit of time today, but it's the second one for me. So it says grantee information, and then this one says Julio management report. This is the one you should be pulling.
Okay.
And then when you pull it up for yours, it's only going to show your one organization, but for me, I'm looking at everybody.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So that's a way for you to check yourself too. So I always tell people to pull the IWDS report, the one that shows the participants with service, and then pull this one. And this is where you can say, okay, wait a minute, we have 8 people in IWDS. We only have 7 in Illinois WorkNet. Let me see what's going on. If you find there's an issue, please email us, either Natasha at Illinois WorkNet or Jim Potts if it's an IWDS issue, and just keep me and Tammy on this so we just know that, you know, there's something going on, and we need to figure out if, you know, sometimes it's not syncing, sometimes, you know, you didn't hit a special button or something like that. But the reason why I say check this on a weekly basis is because you want to be able to fix issues when you have 4 or 5 clients. You don't want to fix issues when it's 40 people, okay? So let's go ahead and get some updates from everybody. All right, so Asian Human Services, can you give us a quick update with your participant numbers and how everything's going?
Yes, so far we have enrolled 14 participants. You saw on the 15, and I have some name I will email to you. It's not, we are not familiar with that name. They are thinking of that agency.
Perfect. And so hold on one second, Demir. So that name, make sure you put Jim Potts on that email and ask him to delete that profile because you don't know that client.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure everybody understands. So in her reviewing the report in IWDS, she noticed, okay, here's a person I've never seen, we've never worked with. That happens from time to time, which is why we should be checking those reports. And you guys should definitely be emailing Jim and asking him to delete those profiles. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing. I'm glad that happened to you guys, but that brings up, you know, stuff that could happen. So that means you are going in and looking at your reports and everything like that. Okay. So we have 14 people. Perfect.
14 people on the IWDS, and we have 8 in training, and we have those 6 pending. They have to start with the second cohort on the May 6th. And we are doing intensive outreach for new clients to bring on the board.
Okay. And then how about support services? How's that going? Are you finding that folks need more support services this time around, or are you finding that you guys aren't spending as much on support services?
For now, we have supportive services through the transportation. Everybody, they are on the need of the transportation. Of course, they are going on the training. But now I expect that will be more when the first group finish and when we have to supply them with the uniform, shoes, extra maybe some tools, something like that.
Right.
Yeah. But so far,
Okay.
we are dealing with the transportation in this moment until they are in
Perfect.
school.
Okay. And just so I show you guys, I actually looked at this report and forgot that I didn't scroll all the way down. So you want to look at your youth enrolled number. And Demir, we also want to look at why those other 7 aren't coming over in Illinois WorkNet.
Yeah, I
So
will
if you could,
to see what could be. I know yesterday that I certified 3 of them and probably the information didn't properly sync from the both system, but still the 7, it's not number that should be there.
okay, yeah. And just so everyone knows, when you click on this report, when you click the number for your organization, it will tell you the client. I don't want to scroll down too much, but it will tell you the clients, and you can, go in and see what's going on. Also, another number we want to start looking at, because I know people are getting credentials, is the industry recognized credentials. Once you put them in IWDS, you should start seeing them transfer over to Illinois WorkNet. So it looks like Metropolitan has 11 folks. And I know it's 18, Jonathan. We're working on that and trying to see what's going on. But if we click this button, we would be able to see each of those 11 people and who's missing from their list of credentials.
Okay,
and once we get in...
I see that it says 18, but we should be at 19 for enrolled.
Right. Oh, okay. So we're missing a folks. So we're missing someone.
Yeah.
So after this call, you guys should click on that 18, figure out who's the one person that's missing, and send an email to us and put Jim on there and see why. Make sure first that they have a IW. Well, you did it with 18 other folks, so you know what you're doing.
Right.
But we just need to figure out where that one profile is going, and then we also need to see where those other people are. The other 7 here.
Okay.
Okay. And then for BCS, it looks like they have some folks that are in work experience. So once you're putting in your information for work experience, we need to start looking at that. And Asian Human Services, it looks like you guys have one person that is exited. So
not that's the clients who were enrolled on the.
You don't know?
Clients was exited 2014, and still they're showing on the Illinois WorkNet as an exiter, but she's our registered clients now. But she was enrolled on the program under LVA 90, but first time as an exiter on the 2014.
So but she's not in the program now, right?
Yeah, she's in the program with me now, but different program. But first time she was enrolled, I think 2013 with some agency, and she was a year after that.
Okay. So send Natasha an email because we have to figure out what to do with her.
Okay.
So when you send us an email, make sure you're sending the, the ID, the Illinois ID that's on the side.
Okay.
Let me say this number here. Just send them, say client this should not be listed as an exiter because they're currently in the program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hi, Tara.
So,
Yeah, it's just wanted to just touch base on that work-based training. Since our candidates are obviously working while going to school, how does that get generated? Is that just simply through when we do our case notes or our services? Does that populate the work?
You should be entering them as a worksite placement.
Okay.
One of the things I'm looking at is your number up here. You updated that, right? The projected number?
Yeah, we did update it, but I think there must be another screen that we're missing on this one because it should say 45.
Okay.
We split it out, but we're going to touch base and look at that again offline just to make sure.
Okay. But you should be entering them as a worksite placement. And let me click on that so you can see. It's right next to the bar graph.
Okay.
and you're going to add an employer. I don't want to go too far. It's going to show. But your project, you guys are all Youth Career Pathways.
Okay.
And then you're going to select your agency for skills,
Okay.
and then the type of employment. And they actually are on the job training because they're on the job. They're working.
Training. Okay.
All right. So that's how yours should look. And you're going to enter their wages. So right here it tells you they'll have the customer's name. The project is going to be the Youth Career Pathway. It'll say skills here.
Okay.
And then the employer would be either McDonald's, Walgreens. It'll say the address and, you know, the type of job. And then it also will give their wages.
Okay.
So when you add, let me see if it'll let me. Yeah, when you add a new employer, you're going to put all this information in for them.
Okay.
And the wages. So when you
Okay.
run this report, let me know when you upload that worksite placement information for your clients, and I'll run the report again, or you guys can actually, you know how to run it now. You can run the report and make sure that number is populating for the, you know, for the amount of clients you have.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? And you know you did it right, Paul. When you look at this number, it'll go to whatever,
Okay.
however many you entered in.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Yeah, hi, this is Sue with OAI. Tara, I believe I'm going to have to give you a call. I was checking to see if the credentials that were entered into iWoods have transferred over to Illinois WorkNet, and it does not look like it has. So I will give you a call to maybe kind of go over that a little bit one-on-one, if you don't mind.
Yeah, and but also put Jim on that email, because it must be something going on, because Metropolitan's having the same issue. So put Jim on that email and just put the customer's ID so he can go in, you know, for the ones, because I remember you putting them exactly the same in there for all those clients. And we want to make sure the systems are syncing.
Okay, yeah.
So this is good that you guys are reporting any issues, because if it's something that's affecting more than one agency, most likely it's a system issue and not just you're not hitting the right button.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay. So this is the Julio report in Illinois WorkNet. Okay. I did get a couple questions. I know there's a few agencies that have new staff members that are coming on board. So we don't have, as you guys are aware, we did the, what was it, a 2-day training in October for these grants. And then we did the IWDS the following week. And then we did another update with Barbara, I want to say a month or so ago. But we don't have actual trainings like those scheduled throughout the year. So in our eyes, now that you guys are trained, or you know what you're doing and you know how to put clients in, when you have new people that are joining your organization, you guys should be completing those trainings now in-house. So more than one person on your staff should know how to put people in IWDS, they should know how to put people in Illinois WorkNet, and they should know how to run these reports. So we don't have any more like, you know, everybody come together. If there's something, you know, some crazy issue and we need to bring everybody in-house, then we will. But for the most part, because people are hiring throughout the process, we won't be able to have like a training every month or so and go over the information. But it's really important when you have new people on your in your organization, it's really important that you show them the PY19 Youth Career Pathways grant. We have all the list of resources. We have the videos. We're recording every interaction with you guys. These are really important places for them to go, you know, getting started. So they need to be familiar. The procedures manual that we gave out to you guys in that big binder, it's here online as well. How to get them started with their Illinois WorkNet ID and getting access is here. So this is somewhere you should definitely be familiar with going, and let them, you know, this is where they should, you know, spend their time if they're coming on to these grants. Worksite placement, if you have any questions about that, here's how to put it in the system. Timesheets, if you need examples of how timesheets should look. We have some examples in here. So here's one example. Here we go. Of timesheets, if you don't have them already for your use. We have those on there. So there's, you know, stuff in here that we try to make this your hub for information. Any recruiting materials, if you guys want some graphics, they're here. So that's all here. So you definitely should be sending your new staff members to this website to get that information. And also the most important part is the videos. So like I said, all of our calls are recorded. And I would actually, if I have a new staff member, I'm starting them all the way back here. You know, just so they can come on and look at outreach techniques. Maybe there's a PDF sometimes, maybe there's a full video. So just look at that. And Illinois WorkNet also has a website on YouTube, so that you can look at if you need more information. Does anybody have any questions about this? Okay. Perfect. All right. Our next group, move this over. All right, next group, BCS. They're not on, let's see. Okay, they're not on. Erie? Patty, are you still on?
I'm still here. I was just sneezing. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Bless you. You want to give us an update of how things are going?
Well, I mean, we are getting more, our recruiting is getting better. We are getting more participants, and we've already started the tape testing. So we're getting there. I mean, you know, we are getting more people in the door, and I'm gonna be starting. Like I said, we're doing 2 more tape tests this week, and then I'm gonna be starting the interviews hopefully next week.
Okay.
You know, like doing the other people.
Oh.
What you said?
Oh no, you're fine. Go ahead.
By doing like the paperwork and the getting them signing the Erie House paperwork, and then doing the Illinois WorkNet stuff. So, but hopefully next week we can start that with the participants we've got in.
Okay. Metropolitan?
We have 19. I know we have to look up to see why it's only 18 on the system.
Okay. And how's it going? Are you finding the same thing with supportive services? Are they needing a lot, or what's going on with the overall project?
The overall, just transportation is what the participants are really asking for.
Okay. And then have they started in the actual, they're at St. Augustine, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm. They've started the program, yes. They're a month in.
Perfect. And are they doing any, and this is for all organizations to kind of update us too, but what about the testing? Is there any, so you guys are doing construction, but are they taking OSHA 10 or OSHA 30 first, or?
Yep, they just finished their CPR credentials, which we received from the school.
Uh-huh.
And
perfect. Okay.
I have a question. Is it mandatory for our program to use tape 11 and 12, or still we have like a flexibility maybe to take the another test? What is that?
The CASA?
CASA, yeah. Because
you can do
on the last my quarterly WIOA meeting, our partnership give us like a opportunity maybe to go with the CASA, because the experience who did, it's very hard test 11, 12. They need participants over 5 hours to finish. And I want to ask Patricia, she already using, I think, 11 and 12. What is her experience with the clients? How they are taking? Are they able to pass the test, because if it's test hard, it will reflect us as on the performance of the end. How people they will gain the skills gain and improve, and
Right.
it will be
So just
performance. I think for whole agency it will be very low on that segment.
yeah. So that's a good. So I just want to make sure I state that TABE 9 and 10 is phasing completely out by July 1. So
Yeah.
anybody you've started, if you have a group that started 9 and 10, they have to have their post-test completed by July in order for you to count those measurable skill gains, since you're using the older test. But Skills is an agency that uses the CASA, and everybody else is using TABE. So Skills, do you want to let us know how that's going with your students?
We've started with the locator, and the locator is a little hard. It just takes some time, and then next week I've got scheduled one young man to come back and do the other half, do the reading and the math. But we explained to them that it's going to take them a couple hours, so they're prepared for it.
But how on the locator, because our provider told us the questions are much harder than on the 9 and 10.
They are harder, yes. They're harder, and it's
practically like a college level the knowledge. And you know that we are dealing all agency with the clients who finish high school, but they are on the level, everybody, maybe 80%, they have basic skills deficiency, which means they are not even on the level of the high school. How it will be now with the college level, how they will be able to finish that, and definitely we will fail the performance on the measure.
Yeah, I definitely hear your concern. Is Paul, are you still on to tell us about the CASA?
Yes, we're here still. It's like, are you talking about,
yeah. In the CASA?
Yeah, ironically, the three of us were talking about that just now. Quite honestly, hearing the stories that you guys are putting out about the TABE, and we use the CASA's testing. It's all online, and it's a 2-hour at most assessment, and the results are fairly instantaneous. And I think it's recognized. It's a recognized testing platform. So I would recommend it, especially if I hear what we're hearing about the TABE testing. Especially, I just don't know how the nuances if you were currently in TABE versus new TABE. But if that's an option, the cost is fairly, I believe it's under $5,000 and you get, quite a lot of, tests, for that, seats, if you will. So, and you pay per test, but, you basically have a balance of tests, and they track you as you go through, and they'll let you know how many tests you have available.
Yeah.
Perfect. So to me, that sounds like you guys might want to look into that option. So anybody that you don't have enrolled in the program right now, you can, research your options as far as the CASA, and then your new group, you can test them under the CASA.
Okay, definitely. That means we are not 100% obligated to go with the 11, 12. We can choose even CASA if we decided.
Yeah, and they also have Best Plus, so it's different options out there. But if you're finding, and you have a real concern with the performance, if you're finding that, hey, 5 hours is just not working with our clients, we're losing folks, I would definitely look at the CASA and see if it's another option for your agency.
Okay, thank you so much. Definitely.
Yeah, let me know which one you choose. Let me know if you switch it. I'll switch it on our document and show that you're, switch from TABE to CASA, and then we'll see how it goes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. OAI, you're up next.
Good morning. Our in-school youth program has been certified. I believe we have 13 in that, and they've gone through their gotten their forklift and OSHA certifications, and within the next week or so should have their NIMS certification. So that's moving along. They'll go into internships mid-June. So we're very
Perfect. And all 13 have the forklift?
Yeah, all 13 of them passed, got their certification.
You're killing it.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
the school youth program will be starting mid-June at Prairie State.
Okay.
We're
Awesome.
actively
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And oh no, you're fine. I had a question. Darn it, it just escaped my mind. Okay. Well, it wasn't that important, I guess. Okay. And you guys look good to go in this system. Oh, I was going to ask about the supportive services. Are you finding, and the testing opportunities? Each agency, make sure you have multiple times for your students to pass any test that you're giving them. Even if you're working with an outside agency, so if you're working with another college or community-based organization, your students should have multiple times to take this test. At the end of the day, honestly, guys, we want to say, hey, I have 40 people in the program. All 40 have OSHA 10, OSHA 30. All 40 have forklifting, and maybe 32 have, their welders credentials. So you want to make sure that you're giving your students multiple opportunities to pass the test, and that they have ample time, multiple testing times and testing dates and things like that. But Don, how about the supportive service piece? Are you finding that they're needing a lot of supportive services, or?
The in-school youth, not much. When we get to the out-of-school youth, we usually provide more supportive services. We run into other life issues that they're dealing with, but not so much with the in-school youth.
Okay, perfect. All right, Peoria Public Schools.
Hi, Tara. It's Sarah Chapman.
Hey.
Yeah, we are still kind of in the same spot we were at last week because our school was closed. So we came back this Tuesday, and Ms. Carter has been helping me do a lot of data entry in IWDS and familiarizing myself with Illinois WorkNet. We're getting the ISS plans, the career.
All the ISS plans and things like that are in, but our training partners were not put in correctly. So we spoke with Chris Steinland earlier, and he made those corrections for us. So now we're going to recorrect the service lines that were put in for the one student, and she's going to put in all the service lines today for all students, since now we know that we have everything that's in there incorrect. As far as
how many students are we talking about?
We have 11 right now. We're waiting on a certification for the 12th one, but it'll be 12 in the end.
So in totality, as far as OSHA, all of them have completed OSHA. All of them have completed forklift training. We're still, of course, waiting on basic academic training, which is basically a high school diploma. They haven't graduated till May 19th. They're all in an internship currently right now that's paid. They have completed their forklift training. They completed their CPR training, and that's everyone in its entirety. Right now, we are doing their core work with construction here, and that's the last thing that they need to complete. So there's only 2 more areas that they need to complete: their high school diploma and getting their core, the NCCR certification. And after that's done, they're kind of ready to go. Kind of.
And when's the last day of school? May what?
For seniors, they graduate from high school May 19th. So yes,
these are all
the last,
right, that you're putting in.
But at that point in time, we will already have, them with a viable employer. We will already have them apply for the apprenticeship for the Carpentry Association, as I was telling you. As long as they complete the program here, they're going to get automatic admittance into that Carpentry Association with 6 months worth of credit towards their program. So, I mean, the setup of this grant here and how it's flowing is very, very good so far. Very good.
It sounds like you're on it. And the 12 you have in, they're all seniors, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Sounds like you guys got some good stuff going. It's a lot over there going, but you're getting it.
It was a hard road to get to, but yes.
Perfect. Email us if you have any questions. Make sure you're running those 2 reports. I know you guys are, but just make sure you're running IWDS and Illinois WorkNet. So those 12 should be coming over in on the Julio report and in the IWDS.
Good question. I had her run the report actually just this morning at 8 o'clock. And how it's done with the report is with every training partner, our students are coming up separately. Like before, we had everyone both up together. But when there's a separate training partner, they come up. So we have like an 8-page report, and it's showing, you know, services for one person, type for this trainer. So that's how the report is coming out for us. Is that okay?
I mean, that's fine, but I'm saying like on the Julio report in Illinois WorkNet, I only see one person enrolled.
Right, because the problem was that when we talked to Chris, how the training partner was inputted into the system was incorrect. Also, they used the wrong WIOA location for this trainer. We found that out today. Okay. So then how he had extra questions about how things were going to be trained through NCCR. He wanted to try to make us the training partner. And I was like, no, we were given training and authorized by Associated, Builders to be a trainer, but they issue the NCCR. We are just a training location. So he left ABC as the main person, and then he put Peoria Public Schools here at Woodruff as a location for that company. So we went through around and around for him to come to finally understand how the program was running. So that was like an hour call today before we talked to you.
And let me see. So we have, I'm just running your report really quickly. So I see the occupational skills, and yeah, you're right. It is coming up like one person on each.
So everything that's going to be with Peoria Schools is going to be all in one place. So by the end of today, you'll see all the services in for all the 12 that are ready to go and eligible. Because now we
and I see one person's in basic academic training. What is that? What's that?
Remember, for high school diploma, you have to put that in because that's one of the grant requirements. Agreement. So basic academic.
Got it.
That's.
And then you're putting in the occupational skills training today for your other providers.
Right. Now that we know that we have the direct partner relationships and everything is linked together. So that
perfect.
Today, all of them use the whole page full with 12 because now we are. So everything is in there the way it's supposed to be. Or at least for Sarah, she has that luxury. I still have. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking and leave it to Sarah.
Let's save that for 10 minutes. That'll be another call. But
I don't even want to say that for 10 minutes.
So it's showing 11 participants, so you're doing good with putting them in. When you finish putting everybody in and all of that, make sure
I'll have her email
you're running. Yeah, email me, but also you guys run the Julio report after you hit sync and all that other good stuff, and make sure it's coming over, in the system, in Illinois WorkNet.
Right, because that is an issue. Illinois WorkNet with the syncing and things like that at IWS, as you were saying earlier, there are some syncing issues. When there is one, we will definitely make you and/or Jim and Natasha aware. Instead of, as you said, I thank you for saying before it's weekly. It was good to only deal with 4 instead of 52.
Yeah. So let me know. But like I said, Sarah, after you enter everything and hit sync, check this and make sure it's coming over. If it's not, then send Natasha and Jim an email because we got to figure out what's going on with the sync.
Okay, will do.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. All right. So skills, last but not least. Skills, are you still on? Let's see.
Autumn is on because I'm in the prison and I had to get on early, but I'm on for the 11 o'clock. So if you see Autumn on there.
Okay.
I'm at the reentry prison, so they had to get me on now.
Oh my.
I know.
Paul, are you guys still on?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Can you give us an update?
Yeah, just a quick one. We're slated for Friday to do some file cleanup with some of the candidates this Friday at their next professional development. We had a new cohort of individuals, nine individuals come in through McDonald's this week. We're going to be having the.
What's your total number so I can update it?
So are we going with 6?
Yeah, let's do the conservative one.
6 and 9.
Yeah. What's that third?
9, 15. 15.
Okay.
And then, so then they're going to do we're going to have a professional development session here at Skills where they'll be taking that CASAS testing and completing their enrollment. The location that they work out of doesn't have Wi-Fi capabilities, and we did not want to, detract from the candidate experience at that time when they did the boot camp. But that way we'll get everybody enrolled in Illinois WorkNet. We'll get the CASAS testing up front. So that will that's one of the process improvements that we're going to be sharing. I'm going to share that with you that workflow today as well.
Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then make sure that they are. Well, you already have your meeting scheduled, so you guys are good to go. So just double check files. Let me look in IWDS real quick and make sure you guys are doing okay with that. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Who is putting in case management for Rose? She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8. There's 8 case managements open.
Lori's one.
Here, let me just show you really quickly.
Yeah, that one.
When I pull this report.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Case management should be 1. So you'll open it one time and you'll just add a new episode. So that way it'll stay on the same line. Because what you don't want, you're probably going to see the student 50 million times. So you don't want case management dragging all the way down.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
Brian,
just open it once. So somebody has to go in and delete all of these. Leave one open. I would start with the first time. So it looks like she started on January 4th. And you just add a new episode. And what that does is that extends this date to whenever your end date is, instead of adding case management as a new service every time.
Okay, because it's the same person. I gotcha.
So who deletes those?
Yeah.
Will we be able to delete those, or do we just close those few out there?
No, make sure you delete them.
Okay, delete them.
And if you can't delete them, send us an email and say, hey, how you doing? I can't delete this. Please delete it for me. And just give us the ID number, and we'll go in and delete them.
I get what she said.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Anybody else have any questions or want me to look at something really quickly? I'm glad we found that.
Oh, hey, Tara, one last thing, and then we'll get out of here. But we recently, one of our candidates that we just started in our program, she's already requested housing assistance. And, right now we've given our Tennille, our program director, some options from, just our experience. We've given her a referral from Heartland Alliance and some other, rental agencies. What do you need from us as far as the supportive services? I know, I guess it would be, we know that it'll probably be a first and last month's rent type of situation, I imagine. We do have the supportive services, but just from a documentation, is it just a copy of the lease, a copy of the reimbursement? Ideally, from a fiscal standpoint, I want to pay the landlord directly and make sure I have a lease. But is there any other considerations we should be following?
Yeah, so definitely send that to me in an email.
Okay.
And I will send that over to our accounting department because I want to hear directly from them what they need.
Okay.
And we will get that answered for you. But we're definitely on the same wavelength of I'm paying the landlord directly. Here's the checks, or, however you guys are going to do that.
Yeah.
But send that over, and I definitely want to hear from them what they need from like a legal standpoint, since we're, like you said, most likely going to have to do last and first month rent. Does she have a plan for like after she gets over, you know, like gets in the place?
Yeah,
Or?
good question.
Okay.
She's in the boot camp. So I imagine, we'll just share this information with Tennille, who then she can filter that down to the mentor, you know, and that way they can have the, you know, those discussions.
Yeah, just so you guys have a solid plan, because what you don't want is to put someone in an apartment and then they need help for the rest, you know, or whatever.
Okay.
But if it's just, hey, I need it until I get a couple checks, that's totally different. And that's something, you know, you can document and say, okay, we got you in. Now it's your job to, you know, stay and sustain your, you know, your living. But send that to me in an email. If you can send it today, that'll be great. I'll get it over to accounting so we can get that answer from you, or for you.
Sure. Roger that.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? All right. If not, everybody have a great week, and we will talk next week. Everybody's done a great job. We're getting stuff done. All right. Let me know if you have any issues, especially about the quarterly report. I'm here today. Or shoot me an email. I probably respond faster through email. But other than that, everybody have a great one, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, you too.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.